Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon. 1923's Season 2 premiere brings back a violent Yellowstone Dutton tradition, and I can't wait for more. 1923 Season 2's premiere felt reminiscent of an unforgettable aspect of Yellowstone, and I hope it carries on in some capacity through the remainder of the series. Brandon Sklenar plays Spencer Dutton in 1923's cast, and in a universe that includes John Dutton i.e., Rip Wheeler, and many more, Spencer manages to be one of the toughest characters we've seen. We've seen him kill leopards, lions, and sharks, and now he's getting in the business of hand-to-hand combat, hoping to earn enough money to afford a train back to Montana. Unlike Yellowstone, which takes place primarily on the Dutton Ranch and surrounding areas of Montana, 1923's story so far has partially transpired overseas. Spencer Dutton and his now wife, Alex Dutton, spent much of Season 1 in Africa, and they're now taking separate journeys from Europe to reunite in America. The journey will be perilous for both, but that's part of what makes the Yellowstone prequels so compelling. The modern-day Duttons in Yellowstone experience danger, but the threats aren't nearly as consistent as they were in the ranch's early days. 1923 Season 2, Episode 1's ending saw Spencer Dutton and his new companion, Luca, develop a scheme to generate income while on the ship overseas. Spencer needs money for his train ride to Montana, and he's begun betting on fights to get him there. He's won so far, generating some quick income, but it seems doubtful that matters will continue to be easy for the Dutton heir. Regardless, the fist fights immediately reminded me of the organized brawls on the ranch in Yellowstone. The fights between Lloyd and Walker, Rip and Case, and Beth and Summer were some of the most brutal confrontations in the entire show, seeing characters settle matters with their fists. The fights Spencer is partaking in aren't quite as dramatic on a personal level, as we don't know the people he's knocking down. That said, it still demonstrates critical aspects of the toughness required to be a Dutton. Be it 1923 or Yellowstone, the Dutton family live in a Wild West among civilized society. Fistfights aren't just entertainment action in these shows. They're a demonstration of a way of life. Dutton tradition is to defend the family land with sweat and blood and to lead the ranch. One requires a particular grit and toughness. Spencer Dutton is the ideal leader over someone like Jack because he's controlled but can also get down in the mud, showing just how primal the Dutton family really is despite all their wealth and land. The long-awaited return of 1923 is finally here, and if the Season 2 premiere is any indication, we're in for another brutal and gripping ride through the Dutton family's turbulent past. With the dust still settling from Season 1's violent climax, Taylor Sheridan wastes no time throwing us back into the ruthless frontier world where survival isn't just a matter of strength, it's a blood-soaked necessity. And in classic Yellowstone fashion, the second season premiere revives a particularly savage Dutton tradition that fans have come to expect and secretly love. From the moment the episode opens, there's a palpable sense of tension in the air. The Duttons, still reeling from the attacks on their land and family, are more determined than ever to assert their dominance. And how do Duttons handle threats? With swift, merciless violence. The premiere doesn't hold back, immediately reintroducing the blood feud that has defined this family for generations. In a move reminiscent of John Dutton's modern-day justice in Yellowstone, Jacob and Cara Dutton make it clear that enemies of the ranch won't live long enough to regret their mistakes. One of the most iconic Dutton traditions is frontier justice, a brutal, no-nonsense form of retribution that keeps their enemies at bay. Season 2 wastes no time bringing this legacy back to life in an unforgettable way. The episode's most jaw-dropping moment comes when Jacob Dutton, played with ferocious gravitas by Harrison Ford, personally delivers justice to one of Banner Creighton's remaining men. The scene is pure Western grit, grimy, desperate, and utterly unflinching. With a rifle in one hand and an icy glare, Jacob makes it clear that mercy isn't part of his vocabulary. This isn't just revenge, it's a warning. The Duttons will protect their land at any cost. Meanwhile, the ever-formidable Cara Dutton, Helen Mirren, once again proves why she's one of the most compelling characters in the Yellowstone universe. While Jacob enforces order with brute force, Cara wields her own brand of power, one rooted in strategic manipulation and quiet ruthlessness. She knows that sheer violence alone won't keep the ranch safe. It requires outmaneuvering enemies before they can strike. In one particularly chilling exchange, she reminds a local lawman that the Duttons have survived not just because of their guns, but because of their unwavering will to do whatever it takes. Of course, no Yellowstone prequel would be complete without the sprawling Montana landscape playing its own role in the story. The cinematography in the Season 2 premiere is breathtaking, capturing both the beauty and brutality of the frontier. Wide shots of snow-covered mountains contrast with the bloodied aftermath of a deadly skirmish, reminding us that nature itself can be as unforgiving as the people who inhabit it. This duality, the stunning scenery and the savage world within it, is part of what makes 1923 such a captivating series. Another standout aspect of the premiere is the return of Spencer Dutton, Brandon Sklinner, whose harrowing journey in Africa last season kept fans on the edge of their seats. Now back in Montana, Spencer is thrust into the family's battle, and his wartime experience makes him a formidable force. His reintroduction is nothing short of epic, as he steps into the fight with a steely resolve that echoes the Dutton men who will come after him. The dynamic between Spencer and his uncle Jacob is particularly fascinating, one forged in blood and hardship, yet strained by differing ideas of how to survive in an ever-changing world. While the Duttons tighten their grip on power, their enemies aren't sitting idly by. Donald Whitfield, Timothy Dalton, continues to be a sinister force, using his wealth and influence to make life hell for the Duttons. But as we've seen time and time again, the greatest threat to the Duttons is never just an external one. It's the internal battles, the betrayals, and the weight of their own relentless pursuit of power that could ultimately undo them. The Season 2 premiere of 1923 reaffirms what fans love about the series. It's a masterclass in Western storytelling, blending raw emotion, high-stakes drama, and explosive action. It doesn't just revisit the violent traditions of the Duttons, it revels in them, reminding us why this family saga has become one of the most compelling in television history. And if this first episode is any indication, we're in for a season filled with revenge, heartbreak, and the unbreakable will of a family fighting to hold onto their legacy. As the credits roll, one thing is clear: the Duttons are far from finished, and neither is their reign of frontier justice. If you thought Season 1 was brutal, buckle up. Season 2 is about to raise the stakes in ways we never saw coming. And I, for one, can't wait for more.